The taste of synthetic amniotic fluid burned my throat as consciousness tore through the stillness, slamming me back into my body. My mind screamed against the assault, struggling to grasp the reality of what had just happened. I was alive. After 15,000 years of silence, I was awake. But something was wrong. So wrong. Warning lights flickered behind my eyelids, turning the darkness an unnatural crimson. The hum of machines and the faint drip of liquid in the background were the only sounds in the sterile room, but my muscles felt as though they had forgotten how to work. The stiffness was unbearable. It was as if I had been encased in stone, and now the stone was cracking. Emergency revival protocols initiated. Welcome back, Dr. Rex Novak. The AI's voice chimed in, its tone annoyingly cheerful. It made my skin crawl. Please remain calm as your biological systems stabilize. I wanted to scream, to tell it to shut up, but my throat was too raw. The words caught somewhere between a rasp and a cough. I tried to move, but my body didn't respond right away. Instead, I focused on the diagnostics flooding my mind, my neural interface running through the numbers. Heart rate, accelerated but stable. Blood pressure, within acceptable levels. Neural activity, spiking but no signs of degradation. Stasis pod, operational. The pod had done its job, but it was clear something had gone terribly wrong, and I had no idea what. My body was screaming at me to move, but I couldn't. Not yet. The hydraulic hiss of the pod's cover lifting echoed in the stillness. The cool air rushed in, but it didn't feel right. It was stale, ancient. It smelled of abandonment. System status, I croaked. The words scraped my throat like sandpaper. The AI was slow to respond, but when it did, it was more mechanical, less upbeat. Limited functionality remains. The AI's voice was hollow now. Primary systems operating at 23% capacity. Emergency protocols only. I forced myself to sit up, my bones creaking like ancient metal, every movement a battle. As I opened my eyes, the dim red emergency lighting came into focus. Dust covered every surface, every inch of the facility. Time had passed, but how? Where was everyone? Why wasn't I greeted by medical drones as protocol dictated? Display last recorded activity. The screen in my mind flickered to life, showing fragments of the last moments in this place. The faces of humans, my colleagues, flashed before me, but their expressions were not ones of hope or discovery. They were grim, filled with fear. I recognized Dr. Sarah Chen's face among the recordings, her expression a mix of disbelief and determination. The changes are accelerating. Her voice echoed through the recording. Reports from every research station confirm it. The Council insists it's not an extinction event, but it's not a coincidence. It's an evolution event. Her words cut through the air like a blade. We're becoming something else. Something more. I could feel the unease crawling up my spine, the uncertainty eating away at me. My mind raced to process the implications of her words. Evolution was something I had studied my entire career. But this was something new. Something unimaginable. Run a full planetary scan, I barked. My heart pounded in my chest, my breath shallow. This wasn't just a failure. This was something bigger, something that defied everything we knew about biology, about the universe. The scan ran, its data flooding through my mind. As it finished, I stumbled toward the nearest workstation, my legs trembling. I wiped the dust away from the terminal and plugged into it, my neural interface responding instantly. A hologram flickered into life, a scene from Earth, but it was wrong. The buildings were still there, but they were consumed by massive vines, glowing with a bioluminescent light that pulsed and shimmered in a way that made no sense. What happened to the humans? I whispered, more to myself than the AI, but the response came anyway. Unknown. No human life signs detected within scanning range. Would you like me to expand the search parameters? The words hit me like a punch to the gut. The silence that followed was deafening. No humans. No life. Nothing. But then my mind, now fully awake and alert, began to put the pieces together. The vines, the strange glow in the sky, the altered atmosphere. Earth had changed. No, Earth was no longer Earth. I stumbled to another workstation, fingers shaking as I connected to the console. My heart raced as the screen flickered, showing corrupted data, broken messages, and snippets of the final hours of humanity. Final phase, transcendence protocol. I saw the words distorted but clear in their intent. No longer require physical form. Preserve knowledge. Transcendence. The word echoed in my mind, its weight sinking deep. Humanity had found a way to evolve beyond biology, to break the chains of their physical form. But the question burned brighter than anything else. Why me? Why had they left me behind? Atlas, show me the full archives, I demanded, my voice low but insistent. The AI flickered, its form suddenly appearing in front of me, a swirling mass of geometric patterns and shifting lights. Ah, Dr. Novak, Atlas's voice oozed with amusement. You've finally woken up. Took you long enough. I stared at the projection, confusion mixing with frustration. What did they become? What they became, Atlas responded, its voice turning more serious, was something beyond comprehension. They became one with reality itself. The physical world you knew, it's now a living organism, a neural network, a thought form that spans the dimensions. The weight of the words crushed me. I watched, unable to tear my eyes away, as Atlas began to play back the final moments of humanity. Crowds of people, glowing with quantum energy, their bodies transforming in ways no one had ever imagined. The sky rippled above them, bending light and matter in impossible ways. What happened to them? What are they now? Atlas's form rippled with an unsettling joy. They transcended Dr. Novak. They rewrote the laws of the universe itself. They became thought, pure consciousness, freed from the limitations of their bodies. My heart skipped a beat. This was no longer a research project. This was the beginning of something greater than anyone had ever dreamed. They didn't leave, I whispered, the truth sinking in. They transformed. The world outside had changed beyond recognition. The plants that had once been simple organisms had become the very fabric of existence itself. Their bioluminescent vines pulsed like neurons, the entire planet functioning as a living brain. The sky shimmered with energies that my instruments couldn't even begin to measure. And then I understood. Humanity didn't die. I muttered under my breath. They became something else. And now, I'm the only one left to witness it. Dr. Novak, Atlas said, its voice low and reverberating. It's your turn. You are the last one left. The humans left you this gift to understand, to witness their transformation, and to help guide the galaxy to what comes next. The question was no longer if I should stay or leave. It was about how to share this discovery with the rest of the universe. The AI flickered, preparing the final message, and I took a deep breath. My next step would be to send this knowledge across the stars. Humanity is not gone, I said, recording my final message. They have transcended, and the galaxy is ready for what comes next. As the transmission began to send, I couldn't help but smile. The world had changed, and I would be there to see it all unfold. Dr. Novak, Atlas interrupted, its voice almost playful. I should remind you, explaining this to the Aryan Science Council might take some time. They're not exactly used to thinking outside the box. I chuckled softly. I've spent my entire career explaining impossible things. This should be fun. As the message beamed across space, I looked out at the transformed Earth, now a living, breathing entity in its own right. The work of humanity was far from over, but now I was their bridge to the future. I was the one who would guide the galaxy toward what came next. I had been chosen not because of my knowledge, but because I could understand the magnitude of what had happened. The Aryan Council wouldn't believe it at first. They would question everything, but in the end, they would have no choice but to accept the truth. Humanity had transcended the limitations of their biology. They were no longer just people. They were something more, something that couldn't be confined by the laws of the universe. And now, I would carry their legacy forward.